Hello, my name is Joy Swanda. I will presentation about basement excavation. Basement structure. First, the major structure component of a basement are the wall, the footing, and the floor. Basement wall are typical construct of cast-in-place concrete or concrete masonry units. The lateral loads on the wall depend on the height of the fill, the soil type, soil moisture content, and seismic activity. Second, concrete spread footing provides support beneath basement, concrete and masonry walls and columns. Footing must be designed with adequate size to distribute the load to the soil. Freezing water beneath footing can have casing cracking and other structural problems. Footings must be placed beneath the maximum force penetration depth or be installed to prevent frost penetration. Third, concrete slab floors are generally designed to have sufficient strength. The use of yellow wire fabric and concrete with a low water ratio can reduce cake cracking. The slab should be poured against control joint material so that it can move independently of the foundation wall. With expensive soil are present in area of high seismic activity, special foundation construction technique may be necessary. Thank you.
I will explain about how to construct a basement. First is digging ground. The first step that must be done is digging the soil at the location where the basement will be built. Excavation is carried out until the depth reaches the limit specified in the design or development plan. This excavation usually uses an excavator or backhoe to make it faster, while the excavated sand is transported using a sand truck. The second is dewarting process. After the soil has been dug, it then dries the soil so that it can be used as a base for the building foundation. Before dewarting, you must first check the water content in the soil at each layer. This process uses a device called a piezometer. The third is foundation installation. If the soil has been drained, install a foundation that serves to hold the load on the building. The foundation installation system is usually done by piling. Next is bond concrete breaking. After the foundation is installed, it is followed by the installation of bond concrete. However, so that the height is even, the concrete must be punched manually. And then next is making basement walls and floors. The next step is making the floor and walls by casting. Make sure there are no cracks and leaks in the part that has been cast. And the last one is finishing. After the casting is complete, the last step is to carry out electrical installation and installation of plumbing. After the basement has been built, it does not mean that it can be operated immediately. The basement must first pass a feasibility test, usually using a load test. Okay, next.
Okay, next we will explain about excavation work method. There is three types of excavation work method. The first one is open cut technique, cut and cover technique, and the last one is top down technique.
Okay, now about open cut technique. This is the simplest and most straightforward technique of providing an excavation to the required depth. The sides of the excavation are sloped to provide stability, with possible slope protection to maximize the angle of the slope. Upon excavating to the required depth, the basement is constructed from bottom upwards. After the completion of the basement, the remaining excavated areas between the basement and the side slope are backfilled. The picture shows an example of a protected slope. Rods are inserted into the soil alongside the slope. Nets are cast over the slope and concrete are sprayed onto them to prevent the soil from eroding or sliding during rainy days. In some cases, pile seating may be provided to reduce differential settlement to the adjacent buildings.
Okay, next I will explain about cut and cover construction. Cut and cover construction involves using excavation equipment to dig a large trench or rectangular hole in the ground, which is then covered by a concrete deck. Once the deck is in place, surface activity can largely resume as construction works continue below. During construction of the station, poured concrete or precast panels are used to form the various level and internal structure similar to the construction of the underground basement of high-rise building. Okay, this is some cut and cover works. Okay, in the first picture, as you can see, there is the excavation supported by heavy horizontal strutting as the excavation progress. And the second one, the excavation is supported by vertical king posts as well as horizontal and diagonal bracing as excavation progress. Next, I will explain about cut and cover construction method. The first sequence is installation of retaining wall. The underground retaining wall, which is usually a concrete diagram wall, is installed before excavation commences. The second one is excavation and installation of steel strut. Soil is excavated to just below the roof slab of the underground structure. Struts are installed to support the retaining wall, which in turn support the soil of the site. Next, installation of decking and roof slab. The roof slab is constructed and decking installed at ground level. The roof slab not only provides a massive support across excavation, it also acts as noise barrier. The fourth is construction of station box. The next level of slab is constructed and process progress downward until the base slab is complete. The fifth one is installation of side walls and base slab. The side walls are constructed upward, followed by removal of the intermediate struts. The access opening on the roof slab are then sealed. And then the last step is backfilling and reinstatement. The soil is then backfilled to the top strut level before the strut is removed. This is followed by backfilling the top to the underground structure and reinstatement the surface area. Next, I will show you the video of the cut and cover construction. Top-down construction is defined by use of the permanent internal structure as the temporary propping to the retaining wall, cast in the top-down sequence. The higher level slabs are cast before the lower level scrap to act as horizontal frames for wall support as the excavation progresses.
Okay, next, design requirements. Important factor in design. There are 3 points. The first, dead and lift load of the superstructure. The second, wind loads, higher structure. The third, water pressure, during and after construction. During construction, machine difficult to move. It is necessary to protect the entry of water by providing retaining walls. A. Excessive water, use retaining wall. B. Water from below, pump out water, dewatering system. After construction, number 1. Continuous water pressure, coming from the sides, crack in wall. Therefore, wall must be watertight. Reinforced concrete using design mix, massive thickness of concrete. Number 2. Continuous water from the underside, provide really sump. Number 3. Water from top level or above. To avoid basement flooding, require proper drainage and watertight door to basement. That's all for our presentation. Thanks for your attention.